Hey, welcome to the next in our religious education lessons, and we're looking at one of the other Abrahamic religions, so that is in the Brotherhood of Islam, Judaism and Christianity, and we're looking at the oldest of the Abrahamic religions. This is kind of the originator of them, which is known as Judaism. It's around 4,000 years old, which is a very old religion, as you can imagine. Islam, of course, being only around 1,400 years old, and Christianity being around 2,000 years old. So this is kind of where these religions originally came from, and they spawned out in different parts of the world and from different peoples. It, just like the other two religions, believes in one God. It is not as big a religion as Islam and Christianity. In Christianity and Islam, they very much welcome converts. That's people who don't follow their religion becoming part of their religion. So Islam is very happy for people to convert to Islam. Same with Christianity. In fact, Christianity went around the world trying to convert people into being Christians. Judaism is not quite like that. It's very hard to become a Jewish person, and it is a much more closed religion, which is why it's not as large. In fact, in Britain, it's one of the smallest of the major religions, making up only about 0.4% of the entire population. So this is very much a minority religion group in Britain, and as such, we've got to really understand that group so that people aren't outcast or put to the side or misunderstood, as can often be the case with minority religions. So, very similar to the major religions in the UK. It has a holy book known as the Tanakh, the Torah being a major part of this. The religious temple is known as the synagogue. You'll notice it has a kind of domed roof, rather like the dome on the mosque. It doesn't have any tall spire or minaret like the Christian and Islamic ones do, but the synagogue is where Jewish people go to pray and to listen to their rabbis speak. So Islam has imams, Christianity has vicars, Judaism has rabbis. This is the symbol, so we'll be using this a lot when we look at the religion. It's known as the Star of David, and over time it has become the symbol to represent Jewish people. You'll see it on certain flags, and you'll see it represented on buildings. You may actually see it in older Christian and Islamic religious buildings, but that is now predominantly the image used to project Judaism. So, we need to understand a little bit more about the history. Well, I always talk about these Abrahamic religions. That is very much a core part of Judaism, is Abraham. Now, Jews do not believe that Jesus is the Son of God, nor do they don't believe that Muhammad is a prophet of God, peace be upon him. They believe that Abraham, or Ibrahim in the Quran, was the first person to make a sort of covenant or an agreement with God. And he was the original sort of Jewish person, and his children were known as the Israelites. And this is where Jewish people believe that God gave Jewish people the land of Israel. So we might have heard of Israel today, and we might have heard of some of the tensions and unease there is with the existence of Israel. But that comes from them being a very old religion and believing Israel to be a land given to them by their God. So that's a very tricky thing to deal with in modern politics, and it's something that we need to sort of be a bit more calm and understanding about. So he was known as the father of the Jewish people, and of course he had children Ishmael, whose lineage further became Islam, and children Isaac, whose lineage later became Christianity. Another very important person is Moses. Now in the Quran this is known as Musa. Moses was the person who freed the Jews from slavery in Egypt. And he came in and let them out. And this is a really important point for Judaism, because it's where the 10 Commandments came in. These are 10 rules for what you have to do. A bit like Islam has the 5 pillars, and Christianity has the do to others as you would have done to yourself. Judaism has these 10 commandments, and I'm not going to go through all of them, that's something that you can research, but they include things like don't kill, okay, that you must not steal, that you must worship one God, okay. These are core truths that they believe, and this is kind of where Jewish people get their moral guidance. It is the fundamental law at the basis of their religion. Now, there's probably lots of things, again, that I've missed You could find out all sorts of things about what day Jewish people go to pray. And they don't go on the Sunday, the Christians do, so I wonder which day you think they go. Go and find that out for me. You could find out a little bit more about the Tanakh, because actually it's not really fully just one book. It's actually made of some different parts. A bit like the Bible has an Old Testament and New Testament. This has a part called the Torah, but there are two others. Maybe you could find out a little bit more about that. And what I'd like to do, as much as we've done with the other posters, I want a nice big poster. So you're going to have one of these for each of the major religions. It's going to say Judaism at the top, when it originated, how old it is, what their religious buildings are, what is their religious books, what are their main beliefs. If you want to find any more information on this, I really recommend going to BBC Bite Size, and all you need to do is type into Google, what is Judaism, BBC. And one of the top links will show you, there'll be videos, pictures, all sorts of things to find out. There's so much more about these religions. This is just the tip of the iceberg. So, looking forward to that poster.